So, da ist der Rennstart. Stint Nummer 4 geht los. Wieder so ein Einschlag. So ist es. Ich verstehe sie nicht. Alles klar, ist erledigt. Nee, Spaß beiseite. Jetzt habt ihr wenigstens auch mal gesehen, wie so ein Teststart eigentlich funktioniert. Jetzt müssen die Leute nochmal raus. Ja, könnte sein, dass wir es in Englisch machen. Die Frage ist halt nur, ob in der Party oder per Discord, weil Johnny auch noch da ist. Von daher, ja, müssten wir mal sehen. Mir wäre wahrscheinlich Discord lieber, weil da müsste ich jetzt nicht rüber switchen und kein neues Mikro aufbauen. Aber ich glaube, dafür finden wir eine Lösung. Ein kalter Red Bull hat schon was. So, ich denke, die Lobby ist jetzt bereit. Es müssten eigentlich alle da sein. 15 Leute in der Lobby, davon 13 Fahrer, ein Lobbyhost und ein Streamer. Charles, warum machst du eigentlich durch? Kann ja nicht sein, dass du das Dokument hier füllst, ohne dass du einschläfst. So, Jetzt aber. Keine Angst zu verschlafen. Die Leute von PTE Motorsport, ich glaube, ihr seid aktuell 5. im Gesamtranking. Deswegen weswegen ihr jetzt als 5. startet. Ich glaube, das hat schon seine Richtigkeit. Okay, Charles, dann gute Nacht. Gute Nacht. Schlaf mal ein paar Stündchen. Wir machen in der Zeit hier vorne weiter.
Yes. Hello there. Can you hear me?
Yeah, hi.
Yeah. Hi. Yeah, I'm Samuel. I'm the co-commentator for
Yeah,
this
no
thing.
worries,
So.
Sampa. Nice to having you here. Glad it worked. Sampa, I think you're from BN Racing, if I'm correct.
Yes. Yes, I'm from BNR. I drove last weekend in the top split. So yes.
How does it come that you still support us while your team isn't even racing?
Well, I mean, it's just being voluntary. You know, it's always important. It's always good. Good. You know, it helps. Train the others, and I've noticed that some members have had perhaps in comparison more organizatory work to do than others. So I thought, I'll do my share from my team at least. So yeah.
Typical Finnish coolness, I think. Just supporting us in any way they can. Glad to have you here. Speaking of last weekend where you had your race, do you want to take us back and tell us how it went?
Um, yeah. So I see, by the way, an incident in just in there's some incident in at the end of Malsan. Wait, let's see what happened. I come back to your question in a little bit. Let's see. Uh, right.
In
Let's
case
see.
you
Did
see
anyone get
anything.
that? My Safra in fourth got damaged sadly. Front damage only. So we'll be interested to see if they pit. Dealer Derechstein third has rear damage, so it's again it depends because technically you don't lose too much if you don't have engine damage, but if you have like rear or side damage, so it depends on the driver. It could be worth to stop, but it depends. Top two are just fine. So yeah, apparently that's probably like Masafra uh, was involved, and then yeah, Derechstein third. But yeah, back to your question. I mean, some good battling on here, but yeah. I mean, I thought it well. I mean, I didn't do any mistakes really in my own stints. But like my pace could have been better in the night. Like the stint three I did, I wasn't really happy with my pace, but so I lost a bunch of time to the leaders of the class, and I mean, yeah, it's top split, so I'm not maybe used to drive against such drivers of that caliber, so that was also a challenge. Then I felt like the second stint I did, it was stint six, I think, yes. So that one went much better, but I mean, still, yeah, couldn't keep up with the leaders. But had a really good close call at the end to maybe catch P5 in class, but just lost out. My strategy worked well both times, so yeah. But overall, I mean, I feel like it was maybe a win already that BNR just even got to the top split, so that was like kind of a win for us, to be honest. But other than that, I mean, yeah, we had some issues. Sometimes we lost maybe a couple of minutes, but I still think we couldn't have done better than six. So I mean, I was happy to be part of such a big event, and overall, I think we did okay, despite it wasn't perfect in the 24-hour race overall for our team. But overall, it was a success for us, I'd say so.
When it comes to speak to BN Racing, you guys were following this series for a very long time. Not only due to Simtic and others, but you've been sticking with us for a very long time, which I very appreciate. Um, your first race was back in 2022, if I'm correct. Or am I wrong with this one?
I mean, BNR perhaps raced in 2022. Let's try to think. I probably myself didn't do any driving yet in DS in 2022, but I mean, yeah, at least I did the Monza, the initial event this year. So yeah, but I mean, I've been doing sim racing, for quite a while. It's kind of funny. I used to do like sim racing. I think it was in the late 2000s or early 2010s. Then, like, I went to my university studies and stuff for many years, and then just during COVID, I guess I got bored or something, just to be inside all the time. So I decided to buy a PlayStation 4, and like I think 2020, I went basically back to sim racing. And so yeah, but I mean, I'm racing a bunch of leagues and stuff. But for DS, I think it's this year, which was my debut. So
I think back then when you bought a PlayStation 4, I think you did nothing wrong, to be honest, because I think it's a good decision to get something while being bored. Sometimes those kind of thoughts are the best ones. Um, but I think also racing is a lot of fun driving with others. I don't know how it's in Finland. I think the rules are a little bit lighter than everywhere else, depending on driving with cars. But especially talking about Finland, you are coming from Finland. From where exactly, when I'm allowed to ask?
well, I'm myself from southern Finland. Let's say I'm close to the capital, in that region, like where I'm from and where I live now. So like, yeah, very southern in that sense. I mean, personally, I've always been interested in cars and racing and different types of sports. So like, it's always been close to my heart. And at some point, I thought I would actually maybe try to become a commentator even, but then I changed plans later on to pursue other professions. But I mean, yeah, so yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess we finish. I mean, yeah, mostly I guess um our people who follow sports are maybe more like, let's say, interested in the sports that uh, the Finnish are successful in, but I mean, there's also many like me who are also interested in, like, in the sports themselves, not if we as a country do well or not. So like, yeah, but I'd say the former is probably the typical sports fan here, to be honest. So it's maybe a bit different to Germany, I'd say, in that sense.
could it be that in the southern region of Finland there is a rally track, or am I mistaken?
Sorry, can you repeat?
If there is a rally racetrack in southern Finland.
Yeah, I mean, in southern Finland, I mean, of course, depends how you limit it, but I would say we don't have, of course, WRC level types, but I know in, like, in Hyvinkää, which is like 60 kilometers from capital Helsinki, so there they have, some smaller rally sprint, more like
Mm.
local rally races. Rally races, I think it used to be like, well, it's been years since I last watched, but I think it's like 4 or 6, quick stages in like modified road cars so that they are, rally legal. So it was mostly like real-wheel drive cars, to be honest. It were There's some BMW Saabs and Volvos. I think I remember also a Corolla GT from the late 80s and or 80s and stuff. So Toyota Starlets and that type of stuff. So yeah, I mean, but that's basically maybe the only rally we have here in South. We don't have too many rally tracks or like proper race tracks. Like, yeah, we have karting and,
Yeah.
but that's pretty much it. And then of course the well, I mean, technically we have a track, at Kymmering that tried to host MotoGP, but that didn't pan out, sadly. So yeah. Then we have Avenista, of course. It's maybe like 100 kilometers from Helsinki. So another tracks where it's maybe not anymore in south. It's more in like more eastern parts of Finland, but then we have the Imatra track. I'm not sure what its name, but they still drive some international bike, the motorbike series there. So
Yeah.
right, looking at the gaps and the driver seems like P3 and P5 who had damage. Yeah, the end of Mulsanne lap 1 looks like they'll decide to stick out, even though it looks like they're losing a bit of time. But it's yeah, it's always a tough decision to do pit or not. At this early, it can mess up your strategy if you pit too early also. So like, yeah, maybe they do a few more laps and pit in. We'll see. But yeah, the top two are definitely pulling away. And I'm looking at 322 is 321. There's quite a big gap. So maybe P2 was also involved in the lap one antics, but they survived without damage, which is good for their stint here. So. Okay, GT, it looks like it's fairly close. There are some. They have a fight in 11th and 12th. Ooh, that's some really risky outside move. They still go side by side into Indianapolis. Let's see. Does Lamborghini get the pass? Yes, so they're up to P11 now. And wait, that's like let's see, 16 class now, so in GT. So yeah. Okay, P4 starting to catch up to the DLL driver in third, but as said, the DLL driver has damage, so that's maybe a part of it. Especially on the straights, I can see the gaps coming down, so the damage definitely lowers your straight line speed some. But also P4 has a half-second penalty, so they lose 1 second when they serve their penalty on later this lap. So okay, seventh and eighth overall. P2 and 3 in GT class are very close, half-second gap. Looks like there might be some fighting in Dondi and Mulsanne straight lap 4. Okay, looks like Ford GT driver in GT is about to catch up P12. There's a half-second gap, and also um, Chaser in P12 overall. They picked up a 1 second penalty, which they have to survey later on this lap. They're side by side, start of Mulsanne. Okay, looks like the Ford is gonna make the pass. They're side by side now on Mulsanne straight. Ooh, that was close. Bit of contact, but nothing too crazy. Okay, Ford GT driver in P12 also got a half-second penalty, but they have half second worth of penalties less than P13 overall, 18 class in GT. So they should keep the lead as long as they are at least close enough to the P13 Honda driver. All right, let's move on up on the grid. So P10 and P11 have a fight. They're at the latter part of Mulsanne straight. Let's see. Here's the second braking zone. They go for an inside maneuver. The Lamborghini driver can go a little bit deep, but for now it'll stick. So yeah, looks like they're also pulling away slightly. So I reckon there's probably no more attempts, perhaps on Mulsanne. Okay, P7 and 8 overall. P2 and 3 in GT class still running close. Let's go to LMH. Yeah, LMH is kind of spaced out at the moment. There's almost 10 seconds of a gap between P1 and P2. Looks like P2 though is at this point slightly catching up the P1 driver. Okay, looks like perhaps the DLL driver in third in class and overall also in hypercar has found out their way to drive even though they have damage, so looks like they're perhaps hang on for now at least in P3. P4 is doing solid laps, but they are losing some time to the P3 driver despite the DLL driver in third has damage, and yeah, TTV Bevo 57 doesn't have appear to have damage, so Keima Safra is a further over 8 seconds behind P4 in class, but as said they have damage, so they'll suffer some time for the damage. Both the drivers involved in the lap 1 incident haven't pitted yet. So yeah, looks like they just ride it out despite the damage. Okay, the McLaren is leading the GT. They're doing pretty solid laps. 358 laps now. They go down to 357, so the pace is good for them. P7 and 8 are very close now in GT. Just after the start finish line, looks like the P8 drivers on the inside now for the first corner. Now they're on back on the outside. A little bit of contact, but very good racing there. BMW GTF. Schaefer keeps their position, and Porsche drivers now behind. With a good fight they have going on. I reckon it continues on the Mulsanne straight. Yeah, other than that, the GT class is currently quite balanced. I mean, the gaps are, there are some gaps besides the MP7 P8 fights. So yeah, we'll see what happens from now on. It's kind of spaced out, similar to the hypercar class LMH. Okay, so P7 and P8 overall. Places 2 and 3 in GT class. The gap is now 1.4, so looks like P8 is at the moment outside the slipstream range. P9 overall and 14 class, Mighty Duck is just about almost in the slipstream, so if they get a good exit after the Mulsanne straight, they'll probably be fine, so. Fine to get in the slipstream, let's see. They're still just outside. They're all running in very close vicinity to each other now. GT class. It looks like the P8 driver overall, third in GT class. They're serving now their half-second penalty. Mighty Duck, uh, fourth in class probably doesn't quite make the move. They were around 1.5 seconds behind, so yeah, looks like they're not close enough to make the move into the Porsche curves. So they stay for now in P9. Right, back to LMH. Yeah, it's quite spaced out at the moment. 9.3 between first and second in class and overall. Leader just passed a lap the car, so yeah. But 9.6 seconds, 9.5 around that. Looks like P2 is still catching up a little bit, so yeah. It's gonna get interesting later on in the stint, I reckon. Looking at the fuel is very similar. Same can be said about the tires, so it's just gonna be about the drivers themselves, at least at this point. Hybrid is also very similar, so yeah. And the P3 driver is, yeah, he's 30 seconds behind P2. He probably comes to lap traffic in a little bit. DLL driver in third still has rear damage. They're definitely losing some time, but they'll still for now hang on in third. It's good for them. Yeah, strategy-wise, looks like we'll see drivers coming to the pits. I mean, based on the fuel looks like it could last like 11 or 12 laps. So it all depends on the driver when they want to pit. P2 has slightly less. Well, okay, it's very similar fuel to P1 actually. The driver in third though has more fuel than P1 and P2, so it maybe could play a small factor, but there's not a big difference. So we're talking about half a lap at most, maybe a lap. It's very marginal. Yes, Plexus, it was very interesting in the pre-quali for the 24-hour event. That's for sure. Ooh, very interesting. So P8 and P9 overall in GT class, they have a fight, and then a hypercar comes just past them. I'll see if we get sorted the use the stream, or but yeah, for now we have the view as is. Ooh, okay, an incident between P8 and P9. Didn't quite catch what happened. Wait, now they're P9, P10. Yeah, they both lost time in a some kind of incident. Looks like there was contact between the Lamborghini and the Porsche. Now in 9th and 10th, they both lost time, and Mighty Duck in the green. I think that's the green black McLaren. Yeah, they got to third in class due to the incidents of others. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see if there's any inquiry on that. Looks like the Lamborghini and let's see. Ooh, the Porsche driver in P10 in GT goes wide. They lose a bit of time, but looks like the P9 driver overall and P10 driver overall neither suffered damage, so there's at least that, and looks like they maybe lost only a few seconds. So yeah, both got away with that, which is good for their race. The only minor hiccup for both, but they'll move on from there and try to get a good stint all the way to the end. yes, we'll try to sort out the streaming stream part of this. But I mean, for now we have what we have. So yeah, hypercar spaced out. P2 drivers definitely catching up P1. There's only just over a 7-second gap, so they're definitely catching up all the time. So okay, looking at GT then. Now GT for the moment is kinda evenly spaced. There's 2-3 seconds gaps basically everywhere in class. Around that, yes. Looks like P9 driver in the Lamborghini 14 class, they have a 1 second penalty, so that'll cost them probably at least 2 seconds. So, but nothing too major. The fuel side looks like the GTs probably do. At least the driver in 14 class, they'll do at least one more lap and they beat at the earliest on lap 8. Depends how their fuel management is if they can make it to lap 9 or not. Yeah, Mighty Duck in P8 looks good for now. In terms of fuel, they can probably do at least 2 more laps, I would say. But the overall GT looks much closer than the LMH, except for the driver in last in class in DM Honda. They looks like they're having small issues on track, so they've lost a bunch of time the last 2 laps. Doesn't seem that they haven't pitted in yet, so it's sadly a driving aspect, but they're trying their best to move on and have a good rest of the stint. Every stint is very important for the race overall. So even though you have a bad start to your stint or you have 1 or 2 mistakes, you just have to keep keep your spirits up and try to salvage what you can. Okay, RPFT Kickmack, who was I think, yeah, they were 16 class. They're pitting in now. The Mercedes. Yeah, so the Mercedes driver in GT class is still in the pits. Looks like they're refilling their fuel. They've changed the tires to softs. Well, the weather is a bit tough to tell in the race because it's very dark, but definitely the track surface is still dry. So I see some clouds, but there are very few clouds in the sky. So yeah, looks like it'll stay dry for a good while, but yeah, everything can also change in a hurry. So we'll see. Yeah, so back to bit of LMH. So P2 has caught up P1. This is interesting. Could be due to traffic. Uh, but yeah, whatever it is, they're very close now. Only 1.5 seconds between them. P1 is slightly more hybrid, but it's perhaps marginal. Slightly marginal, their difference, so they're quite low on fuel. So they're either pit in on lap 10 or so that means this lap or then the next lap on lap 11. So okay, so P2 has the slipstream. This could be interesting. More sense straight. But I do notice something interesting. Despite the slipstream, the driver in second seemed to lose a bit of time on the straight. So I'm pretty sure they have a different setup. That's what it means. Their driver who's leading looks like to have much less aerodynamics in their car, which means they can go faster in a straight line. And I know this because the power and weight is same for every LMH car. So the only difference you can have if you're just driving in a straight line is the setups of the cars. Okay, P1 made a mistake at the second chicane at Mulsanne. Gap is only down to 3/10, but as said, this could be also very interesting because, as I just mentioned, the P2 driver who looks to be faster, they have uh, much more aerodynamics, so they're faster in corners, but they're slower in the straights. So, but the issue is that it's not easy to pass in the corners on this track because you suffer of dirty air and also, well, let's say the Porsche cars, they are very fast, so they're not easy to overtake at. So they would somehow need to be close enough at the braking zone to attempt to move or have a mistake from P1. So yeah, this could be interesting because if I'd say their best bet is at Porsche curves or the chicane just after a Porsche curves, but yeah, that last chicane before the start finish line basically requires the driver who's leading to make a mistake if you want to pass there for a lead. So yeah. So now we come to the Porsche cars. This is the Deus chance in second to get a move done. It's very tough to do in dirty air, and also these corners, the Porsche cars are not easy to overtake at all. So yeah, they could be stuck for a while, I reckon, if they both drive without mistakes. Yeah, they got a bit closer, but the combination of dirty air and yeah, also the leader drove pretty good, also the Porsche cars, so they couldn't be close enough to make any attempt for a lead overtake. Another another thing they could try to do is, of course, take advantage of lap traffic if possible to like kind of get through the lap traffic in a more efficient way than Team Q who's leading. So then they could get actually close enough and maybe make an overtaking attempt. But it's still very sketchy if you have 2 or 3 cars very close to each other. Okay, so the LMH cars are now very close at Mulsanne. Deus couldn't make a move; they still stay in second, and now they again lose more time in the straight. So I reckon this is perhaps a bit frustrating for the second in class here. They know they're faster, and all the lap times from before show that, but they're still stuck behind for now. So okay, yeah, it's a bit of a close moment at the Mulsanne. First Mulsanne chicane with lap traffic for Deus in second. They got through just fine. Looks like they may both P1 and P2 pit in this lap. The driver in fourth in class in LMH, fourth overall also. GTV Bevo. He's coming to the pits. Their fuel is almost down to 0, so they had no other options really. But yeah, another overtaking chance could be for the Deus in second could be to perhaps put a little bit less fuel or skip a tire change or something. But yeah, skipping a tire change is perhaps not advisable. So we'll see what they decide to do. At the moment, they're just outside of slipstream range. They're over 1.2 seconds behind the leader, LMH. Several drivers are coming to the pits now. TT Bevo is still fueling, and then we have a couple of GTs coming in. We have the GTEC driver in the McLaren coming in, as well as the BMW driver who were second in class. So P1 and P2 in GT are coming into the pits. So we'll see how close Mighty Duck gets to them, who's third in GT class. They were 1 minute 21 seconds behind at the last sector where you could have a comparison. So they'll probably get close, but perhaps the top two stay the same in GT. Yeah, for the hypercar, the battle rages on between P1 and P2. Very close moment with the BMW and the Porsche, I think that was, and the leader Team Q. But yeah, they got through just fine, and now P1 and P2 in LMH are pitting in. It's only a half-second difference, so now it's gonna be interesting to see what happens. Because if both would put the exact same amount of fuel, they'll be extremely close heading out of the pits. Because uh, based on the data on my end, looks like P1 has 1 liter less fuel than Deus in second, and because the refueling speed is 2 liters per second, I mean, yeah, 1 liter difference is then half a second, and the gap is half a second. So we'll see what happens. But that's only like if both would put the exact same amount of fuel. Could be that both with a full fuel tank to up to 100%, but we'll see. Just checking real quick what else is happening. Ooh, they have a fight in GT class. P7, P8 overall. Sorry, 8th and 9th overall. So the BMW and Lamborghini drivers, they're very close at Mulsanne Straight. Okay, looks like the LMH car Deus did what I kinda hinted they might do. They put a few liters less of fuel than the previous leader, Team Q in LMH. So they actually took the lead by 4 seconds. That's a very smart thing to do by them. Because as you could see from the setups, that they lost time on the Mulsanne straight. And they couldn't really make a pass because the corners aren't easy to pass if you can't get close enough naturally. So they did the right thing. Now they maybe have to nurse the fuel, but at the same time both did plenty of laps, so we'll see how it plays out from here. Depends what type of strategy both the drivers want to do, but yeah, a leader change in LMH. Yeah, so now it could be possible that the leader starts to pull away slightly based on the lap times from before. Deus seemed to be slightly faster than Team Q in second. in LMH class, so they might start to build a gap, but we'll follow the gaps how they evolve from here. Yeah, so the Lamborghini and BMW drivers down in 8 and 19 GT class are still fighting there. There's a 7/10 gap between them. It looks like the Lamborghini does the Porsche curve slightly faster at the moment, so there's a 1 second gap between them. So that's for P3 and P4 in class, so they'll keep their battle going on for the moment down there. But yes, for the moment looks like Team Q in second in LMH is keeping up with Deus. The gap is neither increasing or decreasing, so it's staying the same at the moment. We'll see how it evolves from here. Tires are gonna be cold for both the drivers because they're in the outlap. I reckon they need around, let's say, 3 laps, and then the tires start to become warm. That's what I noticed in my top speed stints I did last week. Okay, looks like Team Q in second picked up a half-second penalty. They increased the track limits at the Porsche curves, so they lose out around 1 second when they serve their penalty on this lap 13 now. Okay, looks like the Lamborghini driver William F1 fan is feeling fast in his car. They're third in class and they're start to catch up to the green and black McLaren driver Mighty Duck. That's for P2 in class. So they coming towards the second chicane at Mulsanne now. There's a 4/10 gap, 5/10 on the corner exit. So perhaps the Lamborghini isn't quite close enough to make a pass at the end of Mulsanne. They're still staying close vicinity anyways. That's for P3 in class, P2 and 3 in class. So yeah, they're fighting for the second position in class basically. Yeah, so the BMW driver was GTF Schaefer was second in GT class when they came to the pitch, but they fell down to fourth. Looking at their fuel, it may be that they refueled a little bit more. So that could be the reason for that, but they're still very close to P2 and 3 in GT class of this stint overall, so nothing's decided yet. It's very close. And yes, the Lamborghini driver is feeling very fast. They'll just made the overtake beautifully at around Indianapolis. So they're up to P2 in class in GT. Okay, we're nearing Indianapolis, and then after that is the small straight where Team Q second in LMH has to serve their penalty. So they lose 1 second from that. So the gap will probably get closer to 6 seconds just in just a moment. Okay, let's see, 5.4, it's increasing. Okay, looks like it's around half a second. Half a second is what the gap increased, so it's 5.5, 5.6 seconds now the gap between P1 and P2 in LMH. So yeah, actually, if you have a half second penalty, it looks like it's roughly half a second or 6/10 you lose. The reason being that, funnily enough, when you serve a penalty in this game, the game auto brakes your car. Ooh, okay. Team Q also has issues now with traffic. They had a little bit of side contact with the Porsche that was racing, but still, they definitely lost some more time there. So the gap is now 7.5 seconds between P1 and P2 in LMH. But yeah, for the penalty serving, like, yeah, as I was saying, the game auto brakes your car, and what happens is with these GR10 hypercars that have a hybrid system, the hybrid, like, I mean, yeah, first of all, the hybrid increases slightly, and then also, I think that after a certain speed, the hybrid doesn't affect the acceleration anymore. And yeah, also the fact that the hybrid is, well, very efficient in this car, so like actually getting back up to speed from when you serve a penalty is much quicker than in, say, GT cars. Okay, but of a GT class is still the Taser in the Honda NSX, but they are quite close to the driver in P12. Looks like they may have put less fuel in their car, and that's perhaps part of the reason why they have slightly caught up to the P12 overall. Yeah, let's see. So Safra is 15 in the LMH class for this stint. They're 29 seconds behind TTV Bevo in fourth, and TTV Bevo, who's in fourth, are further 22 seconds from DLL there, Este, who's third in their class. So they are quite evenly spaced out, and the gaps are quite big between third and fifth overall. And yeah, from there, DLL there, Este is over a minute behind P1 and P2 in class. So yes, looks like for the moment it looks like it's gonna be a two-driver fight for the stint win, and then also a class stint victory for the stint.
Hey guys, well, I'm still there, but I think the food that I eat earlier wasn't good for me at all, and I'm trying to just somehow keep it together to get until the end of the stint, because I'm feeling dreadful, really, really dreadful, and I'm just happy that Samba is doing his best to somehow keep the race going.
Yes, you heard there, and thanks Flipsy for the confirmation. And so yeah, I'll try to keep you updated as much as possible, even though you may not see everything I report on. So, but yeah, I try my best to make this work the best way I can. So for the moment, looks like there aren't. Let's see. There's a battle between P7 and P8 overall. That's for P2 and 3 in class. So they probably had some back and forth. Looks like, because at some point I think the William F1 fan and Lamborghini driver got to second in class, but now they're back to third again. And also now they picked up a half-second penalty. They're very easy to pick up at Le Mans, to be honest. So yeah, for the moment they would keep their place in P8, even though they have that penalty. But they have to be careful because they make if they lose any further time, the 9th overall driver GTF Schaefer might get a chance to overtake William F1 fan. Because yeah, as you serve a penalty, I think in GT is maybe around 1 second you lose when you serve a penalty. So if it happens to be under 1 second gap they have, then they could have a chance to overtake just after in the Indianapolis corner. Okay, so yes, ahead of GT Schaefer, they're fighting Mighty Duck and William F1 fan, McLaren versus Lamborghini. An iconic duo, if I say so myself. They're very close, 2 tenths back. Yeah, they aren't quite close enough to make a move. William F1 fan, who still has the penalty to serve, so they need to be a bit careful now to not, of course, lose time fighting and then yeah, pick a good spot to overtake at. Okay, it's just over 2 tenths. Do they make a move or not? Let's see. Lamborghini driver. So now well, let's see. They're trying to make a move, but can't quite make it happen. So they still stay third in class. There's another chance coming here soon in the next right king. It's a tight corner. It's a fast corner, so it's not easy to overtake at. So maybe not a. Well, they have to be very close if they want to go for a move. Looks like they're maybe slightly too much behind. Let's see. Yeah, they'll decide to stay behind, which is the sensible choice. So yeah, now there's a penalty, but the gap behind is well around 2.6, 2.7 seconds. So they'll stay in third in class and 8th overall. Looking at the LMH gaps, there's now a 9-second gap between Deus and Team Q in second. So yeah, as I was saying, from seeing the first stint times here before they came into the pits, Deus looked to be faster all the way. They perhaps got involved in the some lap 1 antics at the end of Malsan. They survived without damage, but yeah, I think they lost some time in the incident there in that right-hander after the Mulsanne straight. But yeah, now they're doing very nicely. They're building a gap, and now it's 9.5 seconds between Deus and Team Q. Let's see. Deus hybrid is about to end though. Yeah, he's running very low on hybrid. So Team Q might start to catch up the next few laps. Let's say the next 2 or 3 laps. Then they should start to struggle themselves also with their hybrid. So yeah, looks for now at least looks like uh Deus looks good to have their lead for a while now. But we have to see how the strategy plays out. It's still a bit early doors to tell. So they have roughly around, what's that, maybe 73% of fuel. I think they've driven like, should be their like, let's see, it's probably their 5th lap now or something going on. So yeah, we'll see what strategy they decide to go with. Could be that they can do a 2-stopper, to be honest. It's still possible, but I reckon they have to do some fuel saving for that to happen. Not much else is happening in LMAs other than the top 2 are somewhat close to each other, but then there's a 1 minute 16-second gap from Team QL to DLR. They're staying third. Then they have a 22 seconds gap behind. Looks like they either made a mistake or had traffic slowing them down. So the gap is slightly less now, but still over 22 seconds. Safra in 5th still in LMH. They're 40 seconds behind P4 in class and P4 overall. Okay, so it looks like 7th and 8th driver are fighting again. They can't seem to get the best of each other, it seems. So that's good for us as viewers, of course. See some action, they're very close. Okay, looks like see, okay, they're there. Mighty Duck is trying to make the outside move overtake at the fast right-hander. This could get sketchy. Can they make it happen? Looks like they're one car, yeah. Smartly, a William F1 fan in the Lamborghini decides to back off initially, then they have some contact. Okay, and then they also now we have the third driver overall in the LMH car also gets involved now. So yeah, there was some slight contact there. Definitely not intentional. So yeah, William F1 fan in the Lamborghini got through to P7. Very close fighting there. Hard but fair racing, I'd say for that. So let's see. Yeah, now Mighty Duck down in P8 in the McLaren needs to be a little bit careful. They have GTF Schäfer breathing down their neck 1.1 seconds behind after the slight contact, and then also the hypercar coming through probably slowed them down too, as well as the penalty. So they have to be careful now if they want to keep their position. At the moment, the BMW driver is behind this in slipstream range, so you might see again some action at the Mulsanne straight between P3 and P4 in GT class. But yeah, for now, I mean, for William F1 fan in the Lamborghini, that worked out very nicely. That battle, and now they have a 4.7-second gap behind all of a sudden. Based on the lap times, looks like they're actually catching up to the GTC driver Drift King RC, who's leading the GT class. They're doing very fast laps, William F1 fans, so they might get very close to the GTC driver. Yeah, the GTC driver, though, they have more fuel. They also have quite a bit more tire wear. Even though it looks like the tire, well, they pitted one lap. The GTC driver 6th overall and leading the GT class. They did apparently pit on lap 9 and I think it's probably lap 8 for William F1 fan. So it looks like the McLaren then is slightly more heavy on the tires than the Lamborghini. So that's interesting to see. Even though the fuel plays a slight factor, but I wouldn't say the fuel difference makes up for all that tire wear. So yeah, the point being that the T7 GT driver has fresher tires, so they're able to catch up the leading GT driver. Down in night, Schäfer is trying to catch up to Mighty Duck. There's a over 2-second gap now. So for the moment, Mighty Duck in his McLaren stays third in GT class, 2.3-second gap behind. Try to get back to their rhythm and start catching up. P1 and P2 in GT class if possible. It looks like for the moment the battles in GT class have calmed down a little bit. So yeah, we'll see what happens later in the race. LMH cars are now, well, for a while been in the phase that they run into some lap traffic. But nothing major has happened as far as I can see. DLL DRS, the third overall, is again increasing slightly their gap to be behind fourth overall. But the gap is 25 seconds, so no major changes. Safra is slightly losing time to the P4 driver, but again, it's very marginal. Now they have to be careful that they don't drive into the sand. They survived that. Now they also need to serve a penalty after Indianapolis, so they probably lose at least a half second. Well, let's actually now we can compute to see what is the time lost. Okay, that's 7 tenths, 7 or 8 tenths looks like. It's roughly what you lose. And it also, funny enough, depends on the hybrid situation also, how much you lose. If the driver ahead has very little hybrid and you have a lot, then sometimes I noticed when I did my stint last weekend that you can actually end up in scenarios where the gap stays the same to the driver ahead, despite the fact you have a half-second penalty, which is very funny. But at the same time, as I said, there's some auto brake going when you're serving a penalty. So that means whenever you brake in these GR10 hypercars, you recharge the battery that the hybrid uses. So yeah, it gets recharged when it auto brakes, and then you get extra power again when you go on the throttle after serving your penalty. Okay, Team Kia started to catch up slightly. Deus who's in the lead overall and also in LMH class. But that could also depend on the traffic, to be honest. Gap is though now 6-second territory, around 6.7 seconds. Back to GT then, yes. So looks like they started to fight again. Actually, looks like, as I mentioned earlier, William F1 fan in the Lamborghini has managed to get past the GTC driver Drift King RC. As I said, they have less fuel and also they have fresher tires, so it's not surprising. But even so, it's very impressive driving. They're currently definitely the fastest GT car on track. But the fight is not yet over, of course, because there's a half-second gap at Mulsanne. But if they I still think if they just manage to stay ahead after Indianapolis, they should be fine to keep the lead in GT class, barring of course any possible mistakes. Okay, GTC driver in the McLaren got a better exit now at the end of Mulsanne straight, the right-hander there. But let's see, do they get close enough for a move? Down to 3 tenths now. 2 tenths, they're getting very close. They go for a move. Go for the outside, they decide to stay there. No, they back off. So Drift King RC still stays second in GT class. But yeah, this is definitely not over. I have to say, what looks like, still to me, it looks like the Lamborghini driver is faster at the moment. So, but at the same time, the slipstream plays a big part on this track. There are a lot of straights, so if the GTC McLaren driver can stay in the slipstream range of the Lamborghini ahead of them, well, then there's a chance they might hang on there for a few laps at least. Because yeah, the slipstream, I think it's these days around 1.1 seconds is the range, so they're now very close to drop past the slipstream range. But if they can somehow stay there in the slipstream range, then then they have an advantage that they gain time in the straights. Ooh, that's a close moment, but they save the slide nicely. The gap is now 1 second. Let's follow this up quickly to Mulsanne to see if GTC driver second in class can get to the leading GT driver William F1 fans slipstream range or not. Okay, over 1.2, so for the moment they're outside slipstream range. Tetra Rouge 1.3 now. Yeah, they're out of slipstream range. They have worse tires, more fuel. So this is the point now when they don't have the slipstream anymore. And also the other factors as mentioned, the tire wear and fuel being higher, they probably struggle to keep up now. William F1 fan who's leading GT. Other than that, GT hasn't too much action going on. Looks like Taser X19 in the Honda and NSX GT3 car has got past at some point. Zyndi 03. So they have a 5.7 second gap there. 7th and 18th class. And then there's Schroeder in the Porsche P6 in GT class. They're 13.8 seconds ahead of Taser X19. Then there's a 15-second gap to RPFT driver Kickmack in the Mercedes. And yeah, the RPFT driver is 14th class. They are further 30 seconds behind GTP Schaefer in the BMW. They're still for the moment. Yeah, they're 14th class. The RPFT Kickmack was 5th, and then Mighty Duck in the McLaren. They're 3rd in class, 4.5 to Drift King RC GTC driver in the McLaren. The let's see. Well, they have basically a tricolor, basically red, white, and blue livery. So they're still 2nd in class. They, as I expected, losing a bit of time to William F1 fan who is driving nicely and who also has less fuel, better tires in terms of wear. So they're slightly pulling away. There's a 2.4 second gap now in GT class. So yeah, the Lamborghini still leads GT. LMH. Yeah, as I expected, why Team Q probably caught up slightly to Deus in the LMH car class. The gap is now 4 seconds between them. It could be traffic, but looking at the battery, it could have also been the hybrid because looks like Team Q was slightly more efficient, recharging the battery, so they had a few more laps extra in terms of hybrid. But still, Deus leading the LMH class by close to 4 seconds. So yes, the gap between LMH P1 and P2 is now 3.5 at the start-finish line, start of lap 21. So Team Q is catching up Deus at the moment. So we'll see how it works out from here. So yeah, 3.5 second gap. Yeah, traffic definitely plays a factor in these types of longer stints because this is a 3-hour stint, so it's a very big factor it can play how you manage to get through the traffic, and also it's kind of luck based because I mean if you catch up at GT car at the Porsche curves, you're in a very difficult position. because the reason being there that it's well, the Porsche curves are very fast. They're somewhat narrow, but the main thing is that the corners are very fast and they are like very much single file. So that means it's always tough to go side by side, even though you would have a faster car. And of course, the GT car ahead, which is drives competitively in their own class, they don't have to give room or let an hypercar go by. They can use their normal driving line. So that means if they just use their normal driving line, the optimal way to drive the Porsche curves is of course using all the available track space. So you go basically from left to right, right to left as much as possible, but still staying within the limits. So if you don't have any extra momentum, you really can't pass too easily at the Porsche curves. Even though the LMH third GR10s are much faster than the GT3 cars in the well, GTE cars. Let's put it like that. Yeah, so even though the GR10 is much faster in those corners, yeah, for the facts I just mentioned, is yeah, they just can't get past there very easily. So yeah, so I'm still close to 4 seconds. Now just over 4 seconds, the gap between Deus and Team Q, P1 and P2 in LMH. Then the gap has increased, perhaps not surprisingly, between Team Q in second, DLR Dereste in third, in overall and LMH. So yeah, the gap is now between P2 and P3 overall is over 1.5 minutes. The gap keeps increasing. So yeah, they're still running solidly because let's see well, they maybe done a better job with their hybrid and/or traffic because the gap has increased between DLR der Öste 13 LMH and TTV Bevo 57, the American driver. So the gap is now 44 seconds, and then they have 44 seconds behind to Safran, who's 15 class, but the gap has stayed the same between P4 and P5 in LMH. Yeah, for the moment the Lamborghini driver William F1 fan is doing very good laps. He's pulling away from Drift King RC second in the GT class. The gap is now over 6 seconds. But looking at the fuel and tires, they definitely have to pit earlier. And there's a possibility that they even, well, we'll see how it pans out over the whole race. But it could be, well, I don't know about the pit stop times. I don't have that data, but it could be actually that the uh, McLaren driver for GTEC, who's second in GT class, they might be fuel saving just a tiny bit. That or they just put more fuel after the pits. But either way, they're losing slight time more and more. But again, if those two cars have a big fuel consumption difference, then it's gonna perhaps gonna affect how the GT class plays out, towards the end of the stint. So yeah, for the moment, P6 and P7 in GT class, the gap is 6.6 seconds at lap 19 is where the GT cars are at. Then Mighty Duck in 8, they also start to catch up to Drift King RC and the McLaren. They have much fresher tires, so that's a factor, and also slightly less fuel. So we'll see if we have some battling between the two McLaren drivers soon. Perhaps in the next few laps if this keeps up. If the lap times stay consistent for the both of the drivers, then Schaefer is slightly losing time to the McLaren driver Mighty Duck ahead, who's third in class, but they're still solidly in fourth, the BMW driver in their class. Then they have 32 seconds behind to kick Mac, RPFT kick Mac in the Mercedes. Gap looks to be fairly slowly increasing to the favor of the BMW driver. Yeah, the Mercedes driver RPFT kick Mac is fifth in class. Schroeder apparently has a half-second penalty to serve, but they're 30 seconds behind the driver ahead. Yes, but overall not too many changes in GT class other than the fact that the leading GT car seemed to increase the gap, but now it looks like they lost a bit of time. Wonder if there was some action between a hypercar and the Lamborghini driver. Could be that they had to back off or something, or then they just made a small mistake. But yeah, but Mighty Duck is really catching up to Drift King RC McLaren driver now. The gap is slowly getting to a smaller one. It's now 1.3 seconds, so they have a good first sector. On lap 20 they might get to the slipstream range of Drift King RC, who is still second in GT class at the moment. Yeah, so sorry for any inconveniences because the thing is that I'm hosting the this lobby, so sadly I can't decide to start a stream, and then there's a risk that the lobby might mess itself up, so I'm not taking that risk. So try to report as much as I can and of what's going around, even though you can't see everything what's going around, but I'll do my best here. The LMH gap looks to be somewhat consistent. It's around 4 seconds for the fight for the lead between Deus and Team Q26. So yeah, between 3 and 4 seconds is what has been circulating at the past few laps. The gap, but yeah, let's remember the leading LMH driver. Yeah, they have less fuel in their car, so yeah, it might become a factor later on. So yeah, sorry for the situation, but yeah, in my positions when I'm just hosting and in the same voice chat, I don't run the stream itself, which you see running. So sadly, I can't change between what's going on. I'm sorry about that. Looks like there's now a fight for P3 and P4 between P3 and P4 in GT class. Looks like Mighty Duck, yeah, they just got through in the McLaren. They have players that are in better shape and also less fuel than the other McLaren driver. So yeah, Mighty Duck is up to P3 in GT class. Sorry, P2. Yeah. Drift King RC has now fallen to P3 in GT class. Yes, Drift King RC just hasn't, of course, given up yet. They're, well, now they're 7 tenths behind Mighty Duck, second in GT class. So they'll get the slipstream for the Mulsanne, and we'll have to see if they go for a move or not in one of the chicanes. Yeah, currently the Lamborghini driver William F1 fan is running away with it in GT class. The gap is 5.7 seconds. It will say how it pans out from here. If Mighty Duck can have more pace and catch up behind them or not, that remains to be seen. Yes. So back to the LMH class. So now the gap is coming down. It could be, well, we're about to see. Maybe lack traffic has affected it, or it's something else. Maybe it's just driving. But in any case, the gap is now only 1.4 seconds behind between Deus and Team Q. So yeah, this could get interesting. Slipstream range is not there, but as I mentioned earlier in the stream, in my commentary, and Team Q has a setup. Uh, yeah, they have set up their car in a way that they have more straight line speed, so they'll get closer to Deus on the straights, but then they have more struggles in the corners because of the lack of downforce. Looks like they had a bit of a moment there, and they definitely lost around, well, closer, well, around 1.5 seconds what they lost. So yeah, for now the gap is close to 3 seconds again between Deus and Team Q. And back to the GT class, then Drift King RC is still, hanging on in the slipstream range of the fellow McLaren driver. But yeah, they're struggling to stay in the range now. So yeah, now they're 1.2 seconds behind third in the GT class. And William F1 fan, yeah, looks like actually Mighty Duck in the McLaren, who is second in GT class, is catching up to the Lamborghini driver ahead of them. They have taken better care of their tires, is what it seems like to me. They have fresher tires, so they're able to push harder for fast lap times now. The gap is 3.3 seconds between 6th and 7th, so they caught up around 2 seconds the last few laps, so could have some more fighting for the class lead in GT. Yeah, Drift King RC is struggling. Their tires are getting worn out, and also that their car is rear wheel drive, it doesn't help that they have plenty of rear tire wear as well, so it makes the car prone to oversteer easier. And they also have now a half-second penalty to serve, so yeah, looks like they're at the moment losing sight of Mighty Duck, second in GT class, because the gap is now 4.7 seconds, and it's only gonna increase a little bit. So this could be an opportunity for GTF Schaefer, who's 14 GT class, 4 seconds behind the GTEC McLaren, because yeah, they're gonna catch up after the around 1 second after the GTEC McLaren serves their penalty. So yeah, the gap could get down to perhaps 3 seconds after GTEC McLaren serves their penalty. Yes, for now we won't have too much action going on in GT class. There are some gaps, so there isn't any fighting going on, but the gaps are changing a little bit. But yeah, for now nothing too major going on. The GT cars probably do a few more laps before they need to pit. But as for LMH, gap is still less than 3 seconds behind between P1 and P2 in LMH class. And DLR Dereste is again losing a little bit of time to the top two in LMH class. It's close to 2 minutes now, the gap from second to third. Then TTV Bevo is over a minute from DLL Dereste, who is third in LMH class. Then P4 and P5 looks like Masafra 15 in the LMH class has done a very good job with their hybrid. So this is probably the big reason why they have started to catch up the P4 driver in LMH class. I think the gap was at some point 44 seconds for quite a while, but now when the hybrid situation has changed in favor of Masafra in fifth, looks like they're slowly catching up to the back of P4. So we'll see how it plays out towards the end of the stint. Perhaps Masafra is overall they could be a little bit slower, but as said, the situation changes probably now with the hybrid. So all things considered, looks like they're catching up. So yes, some GTs are coming in. The GTC McLaren, I'm not surprised they had plenty of fuel, but their tires were quite worn down. And then also RPFT kickback in the Mercedes coming into the pits. Okay, so yeah, looks like Mighty Duck has got past William F1 fan. I wonder what happened. Looking at the tires, it could be that William F1 fan Lamborghini has made some kind of error because they have a lot of tire wear. Their rear tires are coming to the end of their shelf life, and yeah, the Lamborghini is traditionally a little bit heavy on its tires, so they're starting to struggle now. So Mighty Duck has done a very good job. They're on a fairly solid stint, and yeah, they have taken good care of their tires. They're in great shape, so they will be very quick now. Now at this point in time. Yeah, so we're not now at that phase that we might see some more GT car speed in the next few laps. The LMH cars, well, for them it looks like they'll probably run at least 5 or 6 more laps. Yes, the gap between Mighty Duck and William F1 fan, the two leading GT cars, the gap is still increasing slightly. So Mighty Duck in the McLaren leads by over 8 seconds now. And they also can do a longer stint in terms of fuel, so William F1 fan is coming to the pits now from P7 and second in GT class. They'll probably change tires and put a lot of fuel in the car. But yes, Mighty Duck in the McLaren still stays out, taking good care of their tires, and also they have enough fuel to do a few more laps. So yeah, they're definitely in a good position now to take actually the MGT class stint victory here. So the Mage class looks like the gaps are very similar to what they were a few laps ago. So not much is going on. Safra is slightly catching up the P4 driver. They have still half of their hybrid left, so this rate they might have enough hybrid for the rest of the race, so that could be a good opportunity for them then. Them to perhaps get P4 for this stint in the LMH class. So yeah, Mighty Duck leads now by 11 seconds, but it's due to BMW who was a bit further behind. So it looks like both of these drivers are running long and looking at their fuel. The BMW driver has quite a bit more fuel, perhaps around 10 liters more than the Lamborghini, who leads the GT class. So we'll see how this all plays out. That's roughly 5 seconds in the pitch, so yeah, the net lead is still for the McLaren. Mighty Duck is their driver name. Sorry, I'm their gamer tag, but yeah, they're in a good position now to win the GT class for this stint. Yeah, so looks like the HPSR driver is in the O3. The moment they're let's see, that's 15 class, but they're do a pit stop in a little while. Also, half-second penalty they serve after Indianapolis. Same for the Lamborghini William F1 fan. He has a half-second penalty, but he's on fresh tires now, so we'll see what happens. Yeah, penalties galore. There are a lot of half-second penalties here, the GT class. But I said that at Circuit de la Sarthe, it's very easy to get track limit penalties, especially the half-second ones. Go slightly over the white lines, and you get a slight slap on the wrist and a half-second penalty. So yeah, Safra is still catching up TTV Bevo, who has run out of hybrid many laps ago, while Safra has around 50% left. So they're in a good position actually now to perhaps challenge for a P4 in LMH. Okay, so LMH class looks like Deus has been, let's see, they have been passed by Team Q. So there's now a 0.8 second gap between P1 and P2 in the hypercar or LMH class, how you wish. So yeah, I don't know if it's traffic or, well, it's definitely probably slightly to do with the tires. Deus has much more tire, has slightly more tire wear than Team Q, and also let's remember that Team Q has better straight line speed than Deus, so they reckon they probably did a fairly easy pass at Mulsanne given they got to the slipstream range. That's the advantage of the setup of having lower aero. And interestingly enough, they have taken better care of their tires. Traditionally, you'd think if you have more aerodynamics, you wear your tires down less. At least that's how it works in real, let's say, real life motorsports. Probably to do with the setup and the driver. The differences in tire wears in this case. Deus might come in, he might do one or two more laps. He decides to stay out. Needs to be careful because So yes, between P2 and P3 in an LMH, gap is 1 minute 49 seconds, and well, almost the identical gap is between P3 and P4. That's 1 minute 48 LMH class and also overall. So yeah, pretty big gaps there in the LMH class, except for P1 and P2, and Musafra is still trying to catch up TTVB, though it's circulating in the in some similar seconds, the gap between P4 and P5 in LMH class. The moment it's over 19 seconds. But as I said, Musafra has taken good care of their hybrid, so they'll have a chance to catch up, but it remains to be seen. Okay, William F1 fan in the Lamborghini must have peaked rear damage. That's unfortunate. They have to pit again now. They'll struggle if they want to make it to the end. Perhaps not.
Oh, God!
Right, so looks like... let's see. Yes, so I think... Yeah, Drift King RC had some troubles and had to come fix damage, and now P9 and P10, well, they have a fight now. GTEC should be the faster driver of the two. Over the whole race, Schroeder in the GT Porsches be slightly slower. But yeah, we'll see what happens from now on. Okay, yeah, the GTC driver in the McLaren is definitely the faster of the two. We have a fight P9 and P10 now. But is Drifting RC in the McLaren gonna wait or not? No, they go for the move to the first small sand chicane. And yeah, they make a nice solid overtake. Now the Porsche behind them in P10 also has slipstream, so we'll see if they make an overtaking maneuver or not. They could if they wanted to, but we'll see. This is the beauty of the Mulsanne straight, it's very long, so slipstream is a factor and they'll decide to back off. And also Drift King RC and the McLaren went slightly defensive there to keep their ninth position overall, and in GT class they are right now in P4. Yes, the P9 P10 fight keeps moving on, but Schroeder in the Porsche sadly picked up a half-second penalty, so they'll probably drop back a little bit and the fight ends for now. Ooh, they have a big slide, and that's a half spin. No damage though, but that's a shame. They definitely lost a few seconds there. More than a few. Looks like they lost around 7 seconds. And now they still have to serve their penalty. But it could be worse also. Okay, now RPFT kickback is very close. And they get past now. Yes. They get past now for a P10 because Schroeder had a half spin moment and then they also had to serve their penalty here. So yes, now Schroeder tries to get back to it against RPFD driver there. They, yeah, Schroeder tries to get back their P10 overall, but sadly they're picked up a half-second penalty. That could be another at Tetra Rouge. Let's see. Yeah, that's a shame. That's a 1 second worth of penalties now. So they'll probably drop back from the slipstream range of the driver ahead. So yes, now looking at the LMH class, looks like there's an 18-second gap between Team Q and Delta Deus, so no big changes, and yeah, at this rate, uh, Team Q 26 looks like the strong favorite to take this Stint victory for LMH. And yeah, DLR, their Este is a clear third in LMH. Vivo, quite a, yeah, they have quite a big gap to P3 in class. And yeah, looks like they might at this moment keep Safra at bay for the fight of P4 in this stint. Maybe Masafra had a mistake or big struggles in traffic, not sure which. But yeah, they're not 29 seconds behind, even though they have hybrid. It's gonna be tough to catch up at this rate. Okay. Yes, So there, we have pit stop in GT class. Schroeder in his Porsche. Okay, interesting. They had tire life left. They had 36% of fuel left still. So I wonder why they did decide to pit in. Could have run longer, but yeah, it could be that they did the math now that they make a pit stop now, then they can make it to the end. It's a possibility. So yes, William F1 fan is third in GT class, and yeah, gaps between the GT cars are following. So Mighty Duck leads by 13.7 seconds to GTF Schaefer in the BMW. Then William F1 fan is third in the Lamborghini. They have a 21-second gap to Schaefer, second in GT. And then Drift King RC in the McLaren is, well, they're almost 20 seconds behind P3 in the GT class. But Drift King RC is looking pretty good on fuel, so they definitely, if they have to pit again, which they might, they'll definitely need to put way less fuel than William F1 fan, who's currently 8th overall and third in GT class. So Drift King RC might gain at least one, perhaps have a chance to gain a place in the GT class. Okay, William F1 fan is serving a half-second penalty now. That'll probably cost them around 1 second, but nothing too major. And the same goes for Drift King RC, who's 20 seconds behind them. So they'll serve their penalty now. So yeah, we'll see how this all plays out, because I look at the GT cars. There are William F1 fan and RPFT Kickback who have way less fuel than the rest of the GT cars. But I'm not convinced yet that the other GT cars uh, can make it to the end either. But even so, uh, I mean, yeah, refuel intake is 2 liters per second here. So we look at the fuels, for instance, Drifting RC, who's 9th overall, they are 21 seconds behind William F1 fan, but they have 74% of fuel, roughly around that. And William F1 fan has 28. So I mean, yeah, that's the interesting part. That's maybe let's say that's 33. So like that's like around 45-liter difference. So that's quite massive because yeah, 2 liters per second. So you can do the math from there. That's around 22 and a half seconds to do the fueling. So as said, Drift King RC is still in the fight for P3 in this stint in the GT class. Let's see. Yeah, so RPFT Kickback, they have to put more fuel in than Drift King RC, who's ahead of them. So they'll probably struggle to catch up to the GT driver. Okay, looking at the LMH cars, back to it. Could be traffic or it could be driving, but in any case, gap has now reduced itself to 15, roughly around 15 seconds between Team Q 26, who's still leading the LMH class, and Deus is in second. But it's still over 15 seconds, so yeah. Unless anything drastic happens, looks like Team Q is taking the LMH stint win here. And yeah, it's not much else. Second and third, between second and third in LMH and third and fourth, the gaps are, we're talking about less than 2 minutes or more than 2, so not much is going to happen there. To be honest, Azafra is again catching up in P5 overall. The driver ahead. They still have some hybrid left, but at this rate, looks like they're not quite catching up despite their good effort there. Yeah, back to GT. So at the moment, we don't have really any fights going on. Try to make sense of the fuel loads and whatnot. So there's definitely a fight for P4 in GT class here, because Drift King RC is they have to put way less fuel. I'm not. Yeah, it's a little bit tough to do the maths here based on the screen, but I'm not sure which GT drivers still need to pit. And well, I mean, definitely William F1 fan, who's third in GT class, and RPFT Kickmack, who is fifth in GT class. They have to come to the pits. But the other GT cars, I'm not so sure actually. It's gonna be close if they can make it to the end. It may be that they need to maybe do a quick splash and dash, but perhaps they make it to the end. It's very much up in the air, so to speak. But anyways, looks like um, P1 and P2 are perhaps somewhat secure in GT class. There's a 14-second gap between them, and well, okay, GTF Schaefer has more fuel left, so we'll see. Pans out. If both have the pit or one of the two, or how it's gonna play out, I'm not so sure yet. Yeah, the gap is slightly decreasing at the front. Deus catching up Team Q, but at this rate they won't catch up towards the end of the stint. So and yeah, I've seen the O3 still last in overall. Taser's 70 seconds ahead of them, and then Shodor's 1 minute ahead of Taser, and then it's 55 seconds to RPFT Kickback. But as said, yeah, RPFT Kickback definitely has to pit, and same goes for William F1 fan. So we'll see how it plays out. And if they have to do an extra pit stop, perhaps they'll be very quick towards the end on a light fuel load. So we'll see how this all plays out. At the moment, yes, RPFT Kickback is catching up Drift King RC, who's they are fourth in GT classes, so this is a fight for P4 in GT class. P9 overall. They have less fuel, so they have a lighter car, which is why, at least partly why they are able to catch up. But even so, their pace is looking strong now. They're doing personal best so far on this lap, so they are looking very strong. Yeah. RPFT Kickmack continues to catch up. Drifting RC gap is now just over 5 seconds. It's impressive driving, and also they have a lot, way less fuel around, like, let's say, just over 20%. So yeah, they have to pit fairly soon, perhaps in the next between 4 and 6 laps. So yeah, they have to come to the pits once more at least. Once more at least. Let's see. So William F1 fan has the same situation. They're pulling gaps behind all the time. They're very quick on track. They are actually the fastest GT car. So despite they have to do another pit stop, their pace is very good. So they have a fighting chance to finish third in this stint for the MGT class. Yeah, for the moment, the GT class battles aren't really raging on. LMH, the gap is again at the top. It's a bit less than 15 seconds. So yeah, there's very slightly catching up, but it's quite marginal. So yes, drifting RC is running solid still, is close to 6 seconds behind, and they might make it to the end. It's gonna be close. Not too much is going on. Apparently the LMH car battle for the win of the stint. There's now a 18-second gap, so Deus lost additional few seconds now. It's gonna get interesting also, this strategy battle between P8 and P9 overall. And that's for P3 in the GT class, because yes, William F1 fan has to pit in at least once more, but at the same time they have fresh tires and very little fuel in the car. I mean, they have fresher tires at least, and their pace has been also pretty impressive now. So we'll see how it plays out in that battle. Pit stops do take, however, quite a long time here. I reckon around 50 seconds to 1 minute. So they need to be really quick to catch up. But at the same time, they don't need to put as much fuel as earlier in the race. So yeah, I reckon they maybe drop. I predict perhaps around 15 seconds behind when they pit in after a few laps. So yeah, we'll see how quick they are once they exit the pits. But they're definitely still in with a shot for P3 in GT class. Yes, this stint has definitely been very predictable in terms of whether or not much has happened. It's been dry full out, so nothing dramatic in that sense. That's for sure. Yeah, let's see. So 11.4 seconds between William F1 fan and GTF Schaefer P7 P8. Yeah, Lamborghini driver is doing very well in terms of pace. Drifting RC is slowly losing to the driver ahead in GT class, but yeah, they have much more fuel, so they're on a different strategy. So we'll see how it plays out in the end. Schroeder pits in again. It's down P11 overall. Ah, they have front damage. That's a shame. Been excited to get it fixed. So yeah, sadly that's close to a minute gone. But yeah, it happens. Yeah, Musafra is again starting to catch up. The driver in fourth overall, but yeah, now looks like they're running out of hybrid themselves. So yeah, it won't be so easy to catch up now. The MP4 fight. So it's 21.2 seconds there in the LMH fight for P4 and P5. And then as for the GT cars again, yeah, not too much is going on at the top. Top there, gap is fairly solid maybe. Yeah, I don't know. Looks roughly the same to be around 11 seconds. Let's see fuel between the top two in GT class. Well, we have to see. Mighty Dakuli's GT class is it's gonna be very close if they can make it on fuel to the end or not. Very close, but GTF Schaefer's doing a good job, so yeah. Tough to say just yet um, how it's gonna turn out at the end of the stint for the GT class, so yeah. Other than the fact that looks like either Mighty Duck or GTF Schaefer is gonna take the stint win for the GT class, one of those two. Yeah, William F1 fan is gonna have to pit now. They only have 7% left of fuel. So they'll be very quick towards the end with little fuel and fresh tires. Reckon they also switch tires now. Yeah, Geekmack is slightly catching up Drift King RC. Down in P10 overall. But they also have to come into the pits perhaps now. William F1 fan to the pits. As expected, they changed tires with enough fuel to make it to the end. Let's see. Geekmack P10 overall pits in again. As expected, the drivers on an alternative strategy coming to the pits. They'll be quick towards the end, but we'll see if they lose the fight here or not for their position. So okay, William F1 fan has 62% of fuel, but they're 23 seconds behind Drift King RC. So unless Drift King RC has to pit again, they might actually take third in GT class. Even, well, I mean, it depends. It all depends on the pace, but I'm not sure William F1 fan is that much faster actually. And with GTs, you don't have the same type of traffic you have to deal with, of course. As in LMH, you just gotta hope as a GT driver that the LMH drivers are sensible and don't punt you off. So yes, let's see. RPFT Kickback also did. That's gonna be their last pit stop. Okay, now I get some idea of the fuel. So if they put roughly around 50%, then that's gonna last the next around half an hour or so. So let's see. So William F1, well, okay, it depends on drivers and how you the car and stuff, but like probably RPFT Kickback and William F1 fan would have put enough fuel. So yeah, looks like yeah, Drift King RC is probably gonna make it to the end with their fuel. GTF Schaefer, it depends how well they can manage until the end of fuel. If the BMW is, they have had the best fuel management so far in P7 in the GT class, so they might make it to the end even though they have less than some of their competitors. But Mighty Duck looks like they definitely have to come into the pits again to refuel. So yeah, they only have 28% left, so they have to come to the pits once more. And LMA is nothing new on the west front, so to speak. See P12 and P13. Not too many big changes from what I can see. Yeah, Schroeder has had a couple of pit stops to fix damage, so they're still in P11 overall. Taser's almost 38 seconds behind them. And then Syndio 3 is 9.5 behind Taser X19. And they have good pace now, so actually if they can keep up this good pace, they're doing low 4-minute laps, then they have a chance to get to P12 overall and 17 GT class for this stint. To see the LMH strategy real quick. So yeah, Deus is gonna struggle with their tires towards the end. There's still almost 25 minutes they need to do on those tires. Fuel wise, they have done a good job, so they don't have to worry about their fuel, but the tires are a little bit worn already. Okay, Dealer Reste has damage, front damage now in P3. They're way behind P2, so it's not about that, but they're in a tough spot because you really don't want to make an extra pit stop. But at the same time, if you don't, you're gonna lose a bit of time. So it's yeah, it depends how much you lose versus if it's worth the pit for fixing the damage or not. But yeah, in GT class looks like the fight for class victor is gonna intensify. Mighty Duck definitely has to pit. The question is, does GTF Schaefer in the BMW have to pit or not? It's gonna be very close. Because looking at Mighty Duck, they have 25%. So yeah, that's. Well, they really have to nurse their fuel if they want to make it to the end. It could be that is slightly too difficult, perhaps. But so according to my maths, let's see. That's gonna be another 6 laps they have to do. Have to do a lot of fuel management if they want to make it to the end. And to be honest, it might be worth it because it takes a long time to do a pit stop here. So yeah, they might have to manage fuel, but then they're gonna struggle. And possibly, actually probably not get into GT class. Stint win unless something weird happens. Because they're losing time 3 seconds to their best time and they have low fuel, still good tires, so they're definitely managing their fuel to make it to the end. But yeah, the BMW driver behind is doing solid laps and they've taken good care of their fuel, and perhaps the M6 is also better on fuel management, so yeah, they don't have to worry about the fuel. Yeah, so the gap in GT class is now down to just over 4 seconds. Looks like we have a fight on our hands in a few laps, because GTF Schaefer looks to be the quicker of the two GT drivers now in the fight for P1 for GT class. For LMH, I don't see any big changes other than Team Q has now a 21-second gap behind. They have better tires, so it looks like they'll maybe grab the stint victory for LMH. Safra has had some issues, they're 45 seconds behind P4 overall, so yeah, they maybe made a mistake or something, I don't know. So, and now they have 4-second penalty, that's major, but luckily no damage, so they don't lose like a, let's say, a catastrophic amount of time, so. Okay, yeah, the GT class battle is gonna start soon for the class victory. Gap is now down to 3 seconds between Mighty Duck and GTF Schaefer at the top 2 spots. Yes, for gap is still decreasing, so yeah, GTF Schaefer is about to catch up. Mighty Duck, who's leading GT class, the gap is now 1.3 seconds. Okay, now back to 1.7, but it's only a matter of time. So yeah, even though you could argue, these type of small battles aren't that important over a long race. I mean, perhaps that's kind of right, but at the same time, I mean, every second you can gain could be vital in the end. Who knows? Gap is now 1.2, and yeah, GTF Schaefer is even catching up on the straight. So yeah, Mighty Duck is definitely fuel managing while in the lead of GT class. So we might have a fight on our hands on the next Mulsanne. Next time we go to the Mulsanne straight. Sure seems like it. Gap is now 9/10. Okay, Mighty Duck had a very good corner in the McLaren, so it's back to 1.3. It could be vital for them to keep the gap now to over 1.1 seconds, because then GTF Chevrolet can get the slipstream, which would significantly improve their chances to make an overtake attempt on Mighty Duck for the stint win for GT class. Okay, now the gap is half a second. Yeah, they can't quite make an overtake attempt just yet. But they're very close, GTF Schaefer. There's also hypercar coming. Watch out. Okay, now GTF Schaefer has a chance to pounce for a lead. And yes, looks like they get the overtake to stick also. BMW looks faster in a straight line than the McLaren. I reckon it could have to do with the fuel management. Yes, definitely why. That's the case. Why were they so much faster in the straight? Just looking at the fuels, Mighty Duck has only around 20% left of fuel, or a bit less. And GTF Schaefer has over 25, and also at the same time the BMW is better on fuel management. So yeah, this might be the finishing order for GT Class 2 that GTF Schaefer is gonna take. Stint win for the MGT class. Now they go wide though, so let's see. Gap is down to less than 4/10, but yeah, as said, Mighty Duck is probably fuel saving heavily. So yeah, they don't get close enough after this straight to go for a move. So the positions still stay the same. And yeah, LMH class is looking very similar to what it was before. The rest is, however, losing time massively because they have front damage, so they're losing big time to those. I don't know, maybe they should have. Well, it's there and thereabouts if they should pit in or not. It's a tough situation. But yeah, they're almost 3 minutes behind the top two. So yeah, the top two are doing very respectable lap times here. In the LMH class, and same can be of course said for the GT class, but especially like LMH class, I mean, almost a 3 second gap behind, even if the hard driver has had issues, it's still extremely impressive performance. So that is nice to see. Yeah, Vivo is almost. Well, then maybe at this point, yeah, now they're catching up their Este who has damage, but yeah, they won't have enough laps to catch up. So it's only let's see, should only be maybe like 6 laps left or something around that. But we still could have a fight on our hands also in GT class. Like, yeah, P1 and P2 is not certain, but looks like Mighty Duck there in the McLaren has the fuel manage some. So it won't be easy if they want to take the GT class stint victory here. But William F1 fan in P9 is definitely catching up the P8 driver. They have fresher tires, and yeah, that's the main reason. And also they pace well. They've been the fastest GT car on track, you know, in pace wise. So even though they have had to do one more pit stop than the top two in GT class, their overall pace has been very near the top two. So yeah, ooh, a bit of a slide there, but they saved it. But they'll definitely get a chance, perhaps, to right towards the end of the stint to get P3 and GT class for this stint. But Hypercar, yeah, it's still over 20 seconds the gap between P1 and P2. Looks like also a P2 driver is, as expected, gonna struggle to make their tires to last until the end. No, this is the time when they are gonna become, yeah, the tires will be feeling a bit sketchy at this point, so they're definitely losing pace for that reason, even though they have low fuel amount, which will make the car fast. But at the other side of the coin is the tire life that's left. So yes, it looks like we perhaps don't see changes there in the LMH class. What comes to the really for any of the positions. Oh no, what happened? Ah, that's a shame. Dacer X19 got disconnected there. That's a shame. Try to make a clip here for them in case they didn't have their gap, and then yeah, we'll see how it is handled from there. Probably an internet issue or something, sadly. It can happen. Or something in the connection, and then yeah, you get disconnected from the lobby. Okay, William F1 fan in P9 has caught up Drift King RC or the Mulsanne straight. We'll see. Yeah, they're coming to the end of the Mulsanne straight. Let's see if William F1 fan goes for a move or not. They're fairly close, but maybe not close enough, or yeah, not quite close enough. But now they have a chance for the next corner. They're very close now. Go out of the slipstream, we're side by side to the fast right-hand king, just ahead of Indianapolis. Very close racing, but William F1 fan stays behind for now in the Lamborghini. They're definitely looking feisty to get P3 in class. Yes, the battle still continues for P3 in GT class because yeah, top spot is looking very secure. It's very close racing here. Ooh, we also have a hypercar behind this, so watch out. Good hypercar go through. Let's see. Ooh, does Lamborghini go for a move here? They decided to back off. It's tough corners make it. Okay. So drifting are very nice outside maneuver there. Oh, don't spin it. So yeah, William F1 fan outbraked themselves and got the chicane, and then they lost momentum, and then William F1 fan, the Lamborghini, just managed to carry the momentum through the chicane and make a clean overtake. So yeah, they're up to P3 in GT class. Very nice. It's not over yet, but yeah, well, it could be. Maybe. The Drifting RC picked up a half-second penalty. So yeah, they're 1.8 from P3 in class, and now they also have a penalty to serve. So it could be tough to come back from this situation. But at least a P4 in class. But perhaps they wanted a bit better. Yeah, Mighty Duck is definitely fuel managing. They're very close on fuel. They're very close on fuel. This is a bit dangerous. Do they have to pit again or not? It's gonna get, sorry, it's gonna get very close. You don't have much left in terms of fuel. What would I say? That was maybe. I think they might have to come to a pit stop here. It's a shame if they do have to. Let's see. So it's 2 minutes 55 probably when they cross the start finish line. They have to do two more laps then. Well, it depends a little bit where the leader is in LMH actually. It's gonna be very close. It depends. Yeah, because Mighty Duck, who is second in GT class, they can probably do the next lap on this fuel. But I'm not sure they can do two laps. Let's see what they decide to do here. They need perhaps. Well, I think I know what could happen. They're definitely fuel saving. They're not doing that fast of lap times now. So what they might do is, if the next lap wouldn't be their last for some reason at their current pace, then what they could try and do is to have a slower last lap to ensure it's their last lap, the next one. But I don't know. We'll see, because at this moment in time is uh, looks like they might have to do two more laps, but we'll see. It's kind of weird because it's also based on where the leader is. So even if your time would warrant an extra lap, it might be that you don't actually have to do an extra lap. It depends like how the leader of LMH has done. So we'll see how it plays out from here. Yeah, William F1 fan in 8 is definitely getting a P3 here. GT class unless they make a really big mistake, but they're looking very strong for that, and they're doing faster lap times than Mighty Duck, who's second in GT class naturally because they have to fuel save a lot to make it to the end. GTF Schaefer's doing solid laps, leading the GT class. Wonder what happened to Cindy 03, who's down 12th in GT class. They were, I think, close. Yeah, okay. No, yeah. They were close to a driver who got disconnected, so yeah, it's running there solidly in 12th. Drift King RC is running in 9th there. Easily gonna be good on fuel, but looks like they finished 4th, but we'll see what happens with Mighty Duck, who's at the moment still second in GT class, but they're really nursing their fuel. And this could be trouble if they... Either way, it's gonna be trouble for their second position if the race doesn't end in this lap. So we'll see what happens. No changes basically in LMH class from what I can see. The rest is definitely losing time to the leaders, but they're gonna stay third for LMH for this stint. Okay, so let's see. So Drift King RC is safe for a P4 GT class. They're running night overall for this stint. But I'm more interested to see Mighty Duck because they're coming to the end of this lap and they still have a bit of fuel. They might, well, if they're not gonna pit in on this lap, they have to do another slow lap. It seems like that. Yeah, because they crossed the finish line. Yeah, I can see where the LMH leader is. So yeah, they have to do one more lap. It is gonna be an issue. They're so low on fuel, they're really nursing it. They might make it to the end, but they're losing so much time. At the moment, they're doing over 20 seconds slower than their fastest lap time, so that's an issue. That's a lot of time lost even if they didn't pit, so I don't know. It's tough to say if it was worth it to fuel save or not. It's very marginal the difference now at this point. Because from the looks of it, looks like they've lost uh, over half a minute now fuel saving. And then they're gonna lose some more time on the next lap, so maybe it was more worth it to pit, but it's easy to say here from the commentary position what you should and what you shouldn't do, so it's not really perhaps fair. But it's very marginal if it was worth to pit or not. They have a few liters of fuel left, so they might make it to the end. And I mean, looking how little fuel they lose the previous lap, of course they were slow, um, but it looks like they make it to the end now. And they didn't lose enough of time, so well, it depends. But if this pace keeps up, Mighty Duck might just get P2. The William F1 fan will get very close though on this lap. Lamborghini because they don't have the fuel save. Yeah, let's see. LMH car and 3 hours is up, so this is the final lap. Okay. So lap 52, yeah. Team Q26 takes the victory in the lobby, and then also they won the Stint for LMH. So good job from them, solid driving and nice job. Well done. Looks like the gap is around 25 seconds to Deusi. Deusi's just coming past the finish line now. After a few seconds, and there we go. Cross the line for P2 class, and then the rest got yeah, they got lapped in this race, but still a solid job P3 in LMH. Then we have Bevo further on the road, but we might have some GTs finishing perhaps here in between. Yes, Kickmack just got past the finish line, and Schroeder is about to finish too soon. Uh, down in P8, P11 overall. Bevo has still around a minute to go before they're past the line, and there Estia took third place as said for LMH and also for this lobby. Yeah, Schroeder's gonna get past the line now, and that's for P11 overall distant. Yeah, now it's last drivers are about to get across the line. A TTV Bevo here gonna get past the line for LMH, and that's for P4. Yeah, the last drivers are about to head past the finish line. Just a few more moments. Right, race is ended. Well done to the stint winners, and yeah, to me it looked fairly clean most of the time at least. So good job, everyone. Yeah, stint is finished now, and hope you enjoy the stream, and yeah, hopefully we get the get some more camera action to show what actually happened. So in the next couple of stints, but myself, yeah, thanks for having me, and I will be back for stint 7, the last stint of this Le Mans 24 part 2. So probably gonna have a commentary change here in between. So yeah, I hope you stick around, but if not, have a good night, and myself will have a bit of a break now, and yeah. So yeah. Um, we'll see who's gonna commentate. We try to get it sorted. So